Yo, a ton of stuff to talk about today in terms of crazy action. So massive change in pre-market action, pre-market structure. Starting with as early as I was on at 7 in the morning, and we saw plays like DRMA. We were seeing plays like NUZE, and I made a comment about this, and this is from my Discord. I was making a comment that uh, you always try to think like, okay, what market conditions had these like hyper aggressive pre-market actions? So, because that's what you're going to base your price action on, right? Like, what type of markets existed in the past that had this type of like high volatility, hyper aggressive, generally strong price action, especially in the pre-market. And I remembered AI from back in, there was CXAI, and then there was SAI, and there was a bunch of names back in April 2023. And this wasn't the only time this happened. But I mentioned that, back in these days, what you would often get is you get like insane. So this is SAI from April. You get these insane pullbacks, and in really strong aggressive markets, you get like these crazy rotations that seem to come out of nowhere. And back then, I didn't have the book, so I was like, I never knew what was happening. But I was like, you know what? In this type of market, there's insane range. But the thing about the insane range is, I said the biggest push potential comes after big aggressive pullbacks, right? So you don't really get like clean flags that, that push, right? What you often get is like some type of liquidity swipe, like a 30% pullback, 30% pullback, and then some type of rotation. But now I have the book, so we're gonna go over a ton of stuff that happened today. And I missed the NUZE, NUZE, when it was in the mid twos. That was like unbelievable. We'll look at NUZE, BBLG market open long, which is what this chart was from. I don't know where my chart went. It's down here. Sorry, kind of messing around in OBS here. So I tried twice on BBLG. A ton of people in the room caught this. What was nice about this is intraday yesterday, it had a pop and drop, and I've seen it before where these intraday pop and drops lead to aggressive price action later in the day. So that's just something I remembered, but most importantly, in the pre-market, we had an aggressive high day swipe from yesterday's intraday move and a quick pullback, right? All these quick pullbacks after these like liquidity events have potential to rotate back into, especially if the market's going to be stronger, right? And another thing is this is SSR. So we've seen how, and I mentioned in my Discord, I was like, how a lot of these aggressive pullbacks are very, very short trappy on SSR stocks. And the other kind of factor that I like to see is that this is kind of like the first real consolidation, consolidated structure since the volume come in, right? There wasn't really any volume until here. I always like to see, a lot of the best market open longs are ones that kind of push on big volume and pull back in its first structure and has a chance to rotate, right? So it is nice to see. And then, of course, like I said on ADIL, you do like to see selling into open, right? You don't want to really see curls like this. You want to see selling in open, right? So I had to chase this because I was too busy. I actually took a shorted NUZE, NUZE at 9:31. I'll show you that chart later. But I flipped over to this. And what we're going to see on the book is insane today. Like, actually kind of insane today. So you'll see, okay, here's my first long. I thought it would rotate in the pre-market. So I took this, hold a second, off this bid follow-up and rotation, right? Because you notice a lot of these pushes over here, there's no bids, right? And a lot of these pushes, a lot of these aggressive moves with no bids is not great. But this was an aggressive move, right? That did a quick deep pullback. I like to see that. And then it had bid stacks following it back up. And I was like, and then I saw the tape ramp. I decided to smack this. You take some off at the long trap area, right? This is the long trap area. And then I was risking back in like the mid-low twos, and I got stopped out. So I was like, okay, that trade didn't work. And I was like, but anytime that type of move happens, if we go to this, we'll see that, I don't know why this is, oh yeah, this is it. It forms a lower high, right? We get another lower high paint, and now I'm waiting for market open, right? I thought that rotation should have gone. I'm like, okay, let's wait for market open. What's nice about that rotation is we got some increasing volume, right? And we'll see this on DRMA too. This is kind of like a minor bullish factor, but it's nice to see increasing volume coming to the stock. It makes another lower high. And yeah, the book was insane. This is the type of market, and we saw this on plays like, well, Serve, SERV was one of them, but even plays yesterday, that you had to be ultra aggressive on big bids if the structure is good. So if a stock hasn't extended too much, if a stock has a great short trap or quick pullback or some type of chart paint, not up too much. This is a market, I was telling my Discord about this. I was like, what's weird about these strong markets is that go back to the chart here, you get these huge percent moves, but there's not really a lot of soaking. It just comes down to the level. They throw up a bid, and we'll see this on NUZE, NUZE in the pre-market, and it just ramps. Like there really isn't time to make extended reads because there's so much liquidity, there's so much volatility that you don't get large periods of time to soak, but you get these huge percent moves. And I was telling Mikey Underdog this morning, but I was like, this is the type of market where you can even just slap 5K size and you can make you'll have 50, 80% trades. It's insane. It's just insane. So yeah, we'll look at the book at market open on BBLG. So here's the book. Here's where I chased. Literally chased here. Bids, first of all, empty book to the upside. Nice to see. Bidder at the open, right? Only a single bidder, but the bidder held. Bidder follows up. This guy comes in, and I'm just smack. And then just an insane up-halt squeeze, dude. I did not expect. Look how fast this went, right? I just sold some into the up-halt here because I don't know what times of games it's going to play. I always say the more aggressive something pushes, I go back to this. The more aggressive something pushes, the faster you need to take profits, right? A lot of people see that as a sign of insane strength, but in reality, it's a sign of a liquidity squeeze and B, a lack of support levels in most situations, right? And it ended up just being this crazy, well, from entry. And we had people in the Discord hitting 204. I had 230s, but they had 204s, 213s, insane, man. Some people made over 80, 100% of this move. Pretty awesome. So that was BBLG, another market open long. And again, what's the best longs in a stronger market? The more bottomed out plays, right? Same thing with ADIL, right? So we will go to NUZE. Show you my NUZE chart. I totally piked this on the short side because I thought it was going to rotate. Let's see where it is. I tried one long in the pre-market, right? Because I was very bullish. This type of higher high. Essentially, this higher high accumulation mixed with the high day clear out and the soak here, right? Because we can go to plays like SPWR. This happens sometimes to short sellers, right? Let me show you. There are times where you get, I am so sorry, you get these grindy higher high. You get these very grindy higher highs, and shorts, and it's usually when it's pushing with a ton of volume, and it's pushing past liquidity levels. So it's usually making new highs at days, right? So it's higher high, and it does these quick but shallow pullbacks, quick shallow pullback, and shorts are building, they're adding, and then you get a range expansion liquidity move. And I saw this happen as here, and I saw it on Silo. This is the one I missed. Well, I got a little bit. I just didn't get the whole move. Here, higher high, quick pullback, starts ramping super hard, right? So I thought, oh, maybe NUZE, NUZE, it's the biggest gapper of the day. the pre-market has this insanely strong volatility. Maybe shorts are just going to be smacking like 4.3, 4.2, 4.4, and they're just going to, what I thought would happen here was after this Heidi clear out started rotating and they put a bunch of bids on the 1 minute 20 here, I'm like, man, this is going to get above 4.5 and it's going to start going. So that was kind of the hope. So we'll look at that. And then this was interesting. Do you remember what was AZTR? Remember how AZTR curled right before open and squeezed, right? Super extended name, curled right before open, massive like 100% move. The reason I took the short is because getting back to my old pattern replication video, they did the same trick, and I'm like, no way this works. No way this works. That's honestly what I thought. No way this works. And not only that, like, look how aggressive the higher lows are. Because you got to consider, yeah, I was long in this here, but that was a specific trade where I expected like a large liquidity move to happen. But now that liquidity move doesn't happen, you zoom out on the chart, and you consider, okay, what's the bullish thesis? What's the bearish thesis? And I saw this walk down in the open. I'm like, oh, it's getting walked down in the open. I wonder if they push. And I saw the curl. I'm like, same curl as AZTR. So I was just looking for a bearish book. So we'll go over. There's so much to talk about with this play. This play's insane. I shorted when this 480 ask filled and got rejected with no bid follow up, because I was like, oh, I'll look for any type of like entry signal, right? On a play like this. I know some people took the Heidi clear out at 5 here, but getting back to my long play, it was here. They actually walked down a 90K ask, and I was betting based on the Heidi clear out that this was going because there's no bids here. I was like, there's no bids here. I don't really see any bids. But then these bids start to show up, and my bet is Heidi clear out short trap, crazy strong market. It probably just takes out this entire. I'm just betting it takes out the entire S, given the market conditions, given the chart, and given like the SPWR and the silo kind of range expansion. I was like, let me try hitting it. See if this play works. I like the double stacks of bids coming in at the 1 minute 20 here. Let me just get in. Let me just get in near the bids and try to play. But then I was like, okay, I'll sell some into the first push. Sell some into the first liquidity area. But then it pulled back, and then it started going here. I was like, oh man, let's get above 5. Let's have it ramp. It's gonna be really nice. And then, yeah, I just saw the lack of bids. I saw the ask come in. It started fading. I was like, let me take some off. Like, this is... See, this is what's nice about the book. The book can actually give you hints about what's bullish, what's bearish, what should happen, what reaction should happen. Are there bids on these pushes, right? New ask coming in. It's really nice, not just for entries, but it's nice for... risk management and profit taking, right? It's really wonderful. And then, yeah, actually, I was like, okay, let me risk 4. Let me have some like wider risk at the rest of my shares. See if it works out. Comes back down, swipes 4, and I'm just like, okay, like, and I'm the type of person like, I saw it swipe 4 and it starts to rotate again. I never chase this. If I get stopped out, I learned very early in my career that you should not just be re-chasing entries. It's something that noobs do. So, and yeah, but let's go back to the earlier pre-market, because I was saying this about, in my Discord, I was mentioning SAI. I was like, this is a market, and a lot of my biggest longs percent-wise in my career are plays like, I think VS was a play, where the market starts to ramp, or NVVE, where the market starts to ramp, and you get these crazy pullbacks that have volume, they have bids, they start rotating, and you get these like massive, like 100% moves, right? It's and you can see, like, here's that initial NUZE squeeze. This is at 715 market, massive walk down to the bids, into the bids. You could have big brained it down here but you would have to have that market thesis. Like you'd have to be able to tell in real time what the market changes are and what's the most common type of patterns that exist in the market and which charts have the best potential for rotation and stuff like that. You often see these ones on like this was like a 4 a.m. liquidity swipe, massive pullback. And in here, man, this is what I mean. Like it starts to rotate. They throw up a 90,000 share bid, pushes, throws up another 90,000 share bid with 25K below it. Soaks. This is a great long in this, but you'd have to understand the structure. But the reason I wasn't in this long is because my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter, woke up early from sleeping overnight. She usually wakes up at about 8:30 market time, and I tried to get it, and I had to put her back to sleep. I was like, you're still crazy tired, and I come back to this. I was like, look at the bids on this, like, but in order to long like big bids, it has to be the right structure, the right market conditions, or it has to be like serve like crazy catalyst, crazy news. Like you need some type of thesis that's not just, oh, it's a big bid, therefore I'm going to hit it. That being said, I did say on my previous video, big bids, if they're going to work, they should rotate relatively quickly, right? So this move at 806, 807, I mean, look at, man, this thing went from 2.7 to 3.7 in like this is like 40 seconds. Insane. $1 per share. Like, you know what I mean? I was explaining this to my Discord. I'm like, guys, like you don't even need to be some guy hitting 20,000-30,000 shares. You could just be somebody hitting 5K, and you make 5K in 30 seconds. It's insane. But yeah, of course you have to know about the structure and all that stuff. So it's not, nobody said it was easy. That being said, this was a huge miss. This 4.5 clear out. Because I covered, the reason I scalped this was because I was kind of afraid a lot of these big gapping percentage names, like AZTR and all this stuff, like these ones that are gapping hundreds of percent, they've been strong. So I was trying to, in a stronger market, a lot of times the best short comes later in the day. So I was in this mindset of, oh, let me just take the liquidity move in case they, they pull it back, they soak, they rotate it back towards highs. Like, let me just take a very simple, easy move. One for Trade Zero actually had shares today. I got this pretty. Also, it helps waking up early in the morning. It was like 3 cents a share or something early on. But yeah, look at this 4.5 liquidity move, right? $0.50, painted lower high, aggressive rotation, and this was I was so focused on reading this, right? And also the fact that I covered because I thought it could be strong, even with the pattern replication, which is bearish in this case. I thought it could be strong, so I kind of I covered because I kind of have a slight bullish bias to this name. Maybe it goes crazy. Don't want to get caught. So I was looking at this push. I wasn't looking down here. So these were the bids that were holding the stock up. I think this was like near the 1 minute 200 or something. On the aggressive move, they pulled all the bids, filled all these asks, and just like, look at the range, dude. 4.5 to 2.7s in like, what is this? Like 20 minutes? Insane. And I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my god, they pulled the bids on the 4.5 swipe and everything. I was like, oh my goodness, like a huge miss. And then, yeah, rest of the day, one thing I thought that was interesting about this name is here they did a $5 clear out. Here they did 4.5. Here they did 4. You have aggressive selling, aggressive selling, aggressive selling. So I actually shared, when it was down here, I shared some old charts on like PEGY, P-E-G-Y, from like 2022. And I was like, this kind of has that PEGY structure, like these like hyper-targeted clearouts that end up aggressively pulling back and soaking, and these could be very, very strong. So I actually thought like, man, what if this just rotates and starts pushing? I thought here, I wasn't logging because I'm not very good at understanding the entries. Um, my theory is you should be logging at support, so you should be making reads at like the 1 minute 200, or you should be making reads on like here's a massive walk down, here's a VWAP reject with a big crack. Like you wait for kind of like the retail short, right? Also midday you often have to wait. You don't want to make a read right away. Like say it's touching the 1 minute 200, you want to wait for some consolidation and soaking, right? And this was nice, like an aggressive VWAP reject with some tight soak. I was like, is this the entry? Like, I don't know, man. I'm always thinking like what the entry is. That being said, when this broke 4, I thought this was going to start ramping and maybe even up halting. And then I said on my Discord, I'm like, you know what? The fact that this is stalling here, and the problem with stalling, here, I'll go to Peggy just to show you what I mean. Peggy from what day? This day? Yeah, here's what I mean. So here's the Peggy chart, right? Clear out, short trap, crazy aggressive. The thing about these aggressive squeezes is that the market makers, especially in a strong market, like do not give you time to make reads and enter, right? Like they don't want other retail long. The more that retail is long in a stock, the weaker a stock is. You want as many shorts and as little longs in as possible, so that, for example, the market maker is the one who's buying all the shares, not retail, and therefore they're the only ones who's selling on these pushes, right? They don't have competition from other people, other longs selling, which is why when you get like, you know, downtrend breakouts like this, you know, that's why these things suck. That's why, you know, that's why these entries are dog shit for the longs, and these entries, you know, this type of entry with crazy aggression just ends up being what the long is in the vast majority of situations, especially on these extended manipulated tickers. So getting back to NUZE from today, you know, when this starts pulling back and it starts getting grindy and grindy and grindy, I actually considered it bearish. Like that move should have aggressively squeezed. And now we have a bunch of grindy higher lows that it can, you know, crack into, which is what it's doing, right? Man, I wonder what happened here. Look at that aggression. Super aggressive. Look at this. This little wick rollover. I guess we can look at the book on that. These are kind of, what's insane about these plays is that there's so much range that I'm not really a scalper anymore, but I used to take these trades a lot. Oh yeah, look at that. Support swipe in the seller. Ask, no bids, ask following it down. Oh man. Is that crazy? You can get in the 370s and say you're just like, hey, I'm gonna go for this low getting taken out. Because that's usually what happens. They usually target the low of the support swipe. And there to there, that's a 15% move. That's nice. Tight risk. Yeah, that's I guess I was making this video or whatever. So that's an interesting little play. But yeah, I mean, and then you start getting stuff like this: ask following it down, ask following down, and whenever you see ask following a stock down, you do still want to wait for like hyper aggressive moves. The best reads always come after like a lot of aggression. Here's another chart. And then the other main trade I took was yeah, here's my genius cover, by the way. Was WORX. You can ignore my extremely small brain long attempts. I was just testing these like up halt pullback patterns, and then I was kind of hoping it would bounce off this pivot here. These were bad trades. Usually this was touching the 1 minute 20. Usually what you want to see is a double tap and a rotation. And I was even telling Mikey Mad Dog, Mikey Underdog, I was like, usually I wait for a second test. Usually first test is not the greatest. And but that's okay, because I had such a buffer from my other trades. I was like, well, let me just try. But this trade, laughably aggressive. You know, we zoom out a little bit. soaking on zero volume. A lot of these like plays that soak on no volume, especially the more aggressive the better, and this is like as aggressive as it gets. It did like a double fake uphaul, like it was uphalting. It sold. The uphaul level moved. It uphalted again into twos, and then it pulled back. And this just comes from, you know, trading these, seeing this type of move before. But yeah, I mean, look at the book on this. Fills an ask, filling all these ask, zero bid follow up, and it's just like, once I saw like this mini rotation not go, and then some, I mean, there's no bids. I just saw no bids. I'm like, no bids. Like, I'm just gonna go in here, and take it all the way back to 1.5 because that was the bidder that initiated the stock. Bidder initiates the stock, no bid follow up, comes back, takes out the bidder. So yeah, funny little move. I liked it. You know, new ask showing up was also nice. I was like, once I got in, this pullback, this ask comes in. I'm like, cool. So, you know, anytime you see a hyper aggressive move, you gotta ask, what's the intention? What's the possibility, right? And also midday today. Midday was dry today, man. Midday was not over. That's also made these longs kind of. Here's the longs I was taking. It like unhalted, and it had a bunch of bid follow up. I tried it, got stopped out, and then this was just like I longed it like here and got stopped down here. Pretty bad. But that's okay. It's okay. You try things. It's important to try things, right? And then you remember, like, hey, remember that one time I did that and it didn't work. That's me in my entire trading career, by the way. So, anyways, I think that's it for today. I think I had a few small other trades. I actually can't even remember, to be perfectly honest. Oh, dude. Mikey hit this. Well, let me show. Okay, so here, let me show you what SAI did. Back in the day. What day was it? It was like this day. This day. So here's the play. You get like an You get like an initial pop. You get this rotation on increasing volume. In stronger markets, this could be a sign of accumulation, a sign that the market makers kind of grabbing control of the stock, and then a rotation. But so SAI's rotation happened in the pre-market. Drama of today, we get another crazy aggressive pop, increasing volume with some, I mean, look how aggressive the selling is. Like, so much empty space to rotate back into. And not only that, fake VWAP resistance in the market open. And this type of chart goes to show you, like, if strong market is great for huge percent moves, but the entries are super counterintuitive and crazy aggressive to the point, like, if you're just trying to make normal long reads, it's not going to work, man. You just have to understand which ones have the best structure and really use the book, man. I mean, you got to use the book. So if we go to DRMA at market open, so I did not trade this, what do you call it? But here, man, this is what Mikey saw. This is what Mikey saw at the open. So week open into just like stacks and stacks of bids, and then he started logging into the rotation, empty book to the upside, and dude, like, by the way, if you're wondering how this is so volatile, look, the book is like empty. Look how empty the book is. It's just like insane volatility. That being said, a few people in my Discord hit the long trap, the super aggressive long trap towards highs. Big brain, dude. Fucking big brain. That being said, hey man, if you like, it just goes down so obvious, but to really make the most money long, you have to long at the bottom. You have to long, or plays that aren't up that much, that are showing, you know, like BBLG and ADIL, plays that are showing accumulation, plays that are showing manipulation, plays that are showing control, or you just got a big brain at like Mikey, dude. You know, you really gotta, you have to really see the potential given the market conditions, given the book, given the volume. And yeah, I mean, this thing just unbelievable. What a move. So anyways, that's it for today, guys. Half an hour long video. So, huge day. Yeah, BBLG, DRMA, best market open longs, NUZE. What a crazy chart. I don't know what this is going to do long term. Maybe just fade. There's a bunch of weird consolidation and volume in this play. So, yeah, man. Here's that initial pop. Deep, heavy, aggressive, super controlled sell-off, right? And then here's when those bids showed up. Those like 90K, 100K bids. These are the bids you can believe in, given the structure, given the market conditions. The only thing I'll say is, going into tomorrow, these types of plays are quite rare, and they tend to not replicate themselves. It's almost like you have to have the read on the day they happen, right? And then I'm still looking for, I think tomorrow is still going to be a good day for strength, but it's going to be the same things. I think it's going to be on the deep, aggressive pullbacks that nobody's really looking at. You know what I mean? Not the bull flags that retail traders trade. It's going to be on, these high volume pops, these heavily controlled sell-offs or quick dumps, and it's going to be ultra aggressive, right? Insane range though, so great to see. That's it for today, guys. You have a good one, and good luck. See you tomorrow.